Welcome to Gerald Khalil's Conversation Piece. I share my thoughts on social content in sports, politics, and entertainment. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Corian Blast, what's going on, man?
What up, bro?
All right.
Where you going?
Yeah, man. Just still living the life. And it's been a lot of back and forth. If you go on the internet, a lot of talk about who's the top five NBA players in
Yeah,
history, right?
in
So
history, yeah.
in history, and you will get a lot of feedback, and it's funny. When my father was living, right, he had his list, and I think looking at my list that I have, only one of the players that he had. But it's fascinating as you go down through each generation um, who people will pick and how their top five will, come about. But
Yeah.
anyway, I want to let you go first, man. Who's your top five? And if you got an order, and tell me why.
All right. So for me, like, there's a lot of different people that can be on that list, and I'm just going over overall player performance, rings, different accolades that these specific players have gotten over the years when they were in the league or, still in the league. So um mine is start off with Tim Duncan as my number five. All right. Duncan, he balled out, never got caught in the limelight. He, on the low, had a very good team and had five rings. Um, that people really don't talk about him like that. Um, but he was a great teammate. He was quiet. And he did what he had to do. And it's like I said, he was dominant when he was in the league, and he was a consistent player. And I don't think he gets enough credit for what he accomplished in his career. I don't know what you think about that one.
All right, keep going. I'll tell you what I think.
All right, cool. So this is gonna get some controversy right here because I got a couple things that I can explain on the reason why this specific player is in this spot. So I put Kobe at number four. Um, Kobe is at number four. Um, he had five rings. He got one without Shaq, which was pretty dope. He had two Finals MVPs. And he's just a mamba, bro. He was just a killer. Uh, to be a shooting guard to do what he did was an amazing feat. Um, and he had a couple high scoring game. I thought it was like 81 that he had scored in the game. His last game scored 60 points, which is crazy. Um, but he had an amazing career um, in his time there at the Lakers. So he got in the news a little bit, but he still tried to stay under the limelight with the things that were going on with him. But yeah, Kobe is my number four. So number three, um, I would say is Kareem. So watching Kareem play when I was very younger, he was unstoppable. Um, he was a great player. Went to the finals multiple times. He also had five rings. Um, 38,000 points scored. He held the record since 1984, so nobody could take that record from him. And LeBron wouldn't have took the record if he would have went to college because Kareem went to college and LeBron didn't, so he went straight out of high school, so he had extra years.
Mm-hmm.
So he caught him. And LeBron wasn't that dominant of a scorer back, when he started off anyway. So, but it's just all of the years of consistency from LeBron that got him to pass Kareem. But I put Kareem at number three.
Mm-hmm.
At number two, I would say LeBron James. LeBron, four rings. He had two MVP or four MVP, excuse me. He's been at the All-Star games almost every year that he's played. Um, he's leading in, a lot of different uh areas. He's like top 10 in like assists. He's top, number one in scoring. He's just all around great player. He makes his teammates better. Um, but yeah, he's a great player with the things that he's done, especially at the age that he is. He hasn't slowed down at all either. That's one thing that I can, give LeBron the credit. But like if he keeps going and he somehow gets squeaks in another ring, we could, you know, try to etch him up a little bit, but you see what I'm wearing and what I got on to represent who I think is the GOAT. So MJ is that dog. Michael Jordan is my number one. Six rings, six MVPs, 10 scoring titles, two-time dunk champion. Like he basically put the NBA back on the map after Magic and Bird and their rivalry that they had. He literally just took it over. Um, Mike is, basically embodied the league and made it his own. And you can't go nowhere without seeing somebody wearing Jordan. He is like the biggest icon that you'll see coming from the NBA right now. So, and he's been retired for years. So Mike will always be my number one. That's who I stayed up late at night to watch if he was on the West Coast. That's who I watched every game he played if possible. Um, he's just the greatest player of all time, hands down, no question. That's my top five.
All right. Um, I can't debate too much with it. Um, so I'll do my top five. Now, I'm going to give you my top five. I had some honorable mentions also, and I have some up and comers, guys who are playing today who I think will, that could sneak in there. Okay.
I got some. I didn't want to put that out there, but I got some too.
Okay. So let me go with my top five here. Okay. So at number five, I have Magic Johnson. I
Mm.
thought that he was someone who there was a particular time in the league with the league that they were playing um, tape delay. The NBA was doing so bad. They tape delay, like their championship games were on tape delay, where so like how games are on now, you would have to wait till 11 o'clock at night to watch the game that happened at 8 o'clock. That's how bad the NBA was back then. And it was him and Bird, right, that kind of like bought the NBA to the limelight and bought it to where it is today, where it's, and Magic Johnson, I thought, I'm giving him big kudos for being a part of that. I'm also giving him big kudos of a someone who was 6'9" and a guard. No one at that time has ever seen that before. A guy 6'9" who could come down halves, drive the lane, score, play D. Um, when he was drafted as a rookie on the Lakers, it became his team. And you know how star-studded the Lakers were. And
Yeah.
and he, I remember, it was Game 6 against Philadelphia as a rookie, where Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was injured. So Magic Johnson, he played center. He jumped the ball off at center. So he played center. He played some forward. He played guard. He ended up scoring 42 points. He had double digit assists, double digit rebounds. And, you know, and he was, he was an icon his entire career um, while in the league. And I don't know if you remember when he announced his retirement because of the HIV, where
Yeah,
he thought he had AIDS, and where you thought if you got HIV, you were going to die. I remember
right.
people cried when he decided to retire, and I felt that way. So he has a special place with me, and that's why I put him at number five.
Okay,
Um,
respectable.
okay, my number four is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Mm,
And that's the guy that my father would have on his list, no
right,
question.
right.
Um,
Absolutely.
he had the most unstoppable shot ever made. No one stopped that
Ever.
sky hook ever. So
Nobody.
so you're talking someone who was what, 7'2". You just couldn't stop it. You couldn't block it. You couldn't do anything with it.
None.
For how many years he led the all-time list in scoring until LeBron broke it. Um, it he won a championship with Milwaukee. He goes to Los Angeles, wins championships. Um, and of course, I mentioned, all the points he scored. Defensively, he was great also. He didn't get that um, shine as far as being a defensive player. And But I have Kareem at my number four player of all
Okay.
time.
Respectable. I
Number
got you.
three, Kobe Bryant. And
Mm,
I went. I'm going to be serious. Kobe Bryant, for years I thought, nah, he's not number three on my list, let alone on the top five. But it seemed like as time went on and you reflected on how great this guy was, the energy that he had, the attitude, the Mamba mentality, um, the 81 points he scored. And there were times there was a time period where he scored, I think, over 50 points like X amount of times in a row or something. I didn't look that up, but I remember he did that. Um he had no trouble with putting players on his back and winning. Now, you know, there's people that'll say, hey, he didn't uh he wasn't the type that made his teammates better, because
right.
Kobe, he was shoot first guy. He really was, but that was
Right.
because of
Absolutely.
his attitude. He was like, look, I'm going to win. We're going to win, and we're going to win because of me.
Right.
And you know, people were saying that, hey, he's the greatest Laker. For a long time, I was pushing back on that. But as time went on, I'm like saying, you know what? This cat, he probably is he's probably the greatest Laker. He spent his whole entire career in Los Angeles. So I got Kobe at number three. Number two is LeBron. It's LeBron.
Yep.
Um, and I'm kind of surprised I'm saying it that he's number two. Um, but here's a guy who came into the league. He was what, to a lot of fanfare, right? Like all of the accolades that was heaped upon him coming out of high school, he lived up to it and more, right? Um, I remember his first game against Sacramento, all right, and I think he scored 20 something points. and he's just been great ever since then. I mean, here's a guy, what, he's 6'8", 250. He could pass, he could score, right? And he took a franchise, a downtrodden franchise, and got them a championship. And I remember the first time he got the Cavaliers to the championship against the Spurs. Now they ended up getting swept. But
Yeah.
think about who they had on that team. The second best player on that team, I think, was Mo Williams. Then you had think right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jazunis Ilgauskas. Remember him?
Yeah. It was so bad. Yeah.
Okay. Um, and other folks I can't off the top of my head remember, but they had to be the worst NBA Finals team ever, and he
Yeah.
drags that team to the finals.
Yeah.
And to top it off, when he got some talent around him, right? When he got left, he went to Miami. Now let's talk about the Miami real quick. Now, when he went to Miami, he got them a championship also. Um, Now, at first, Dwayne Wade was the alpha.
Right.
Then he took over. Um,
Right.
but he ended up going back to Cleveland and winning a championship for them against arguably the greatest team, the greatest regular season team in history. That 73
Yeah.
and 9 Golden State team, right?
Right.
And to do that, you look, he's all-time scorer in the NBA all time. He's
Yeah.
still in the league. He's 40 years old and he's still playing like he's 30.
Right.
I
And
gotta
he's still
go.
balling out.
Still balling out. He's still
Yeah.
a threat. You still fear him somewhat, right? I gotta go with LeBron at number two. And
Makes sense.
number one, you're wearing his hat. There's no one that I've seen that's greater than that dude. I remember when he first came into the league, this was a dude that was like, okay, not only am I fear no no ma- not only am I a threat offensively, but I am to be feared defensively. He
Yes.
was like the first two-way player that you're like, oh man, this dude could play D, he could play offense, and the opposing player that would play across from him was like, when they'll say, oh, Jordan's going to be guarding you, they're like, oh man. So I mean, you go down the stats on how many times he led the league in scoring, how many times he was a first team defensive player, um,
Yeah.
6 NBA championships, 6 NBA
Yep.
Finals MVPs, um,
Right.
uh, and
He's undefeated in the
and
finals.
undefeated, and never went to a seventh game.
Never went to a seventh game, undefeated in the finals.
Undefeated in the
Like,
finals, right?
come on.
So
Come on.
Michael Jordan is number one. All right. So
Hands down.
I had some honorable mentions. Okay.
Okay.
I want to hit one of them that you mentioned, Tim Duncan.
Mm.
I had
Okay.
I have written him down as an honorable mention,
Okay.
and I mean the big fundamental. I mean
Right. Right.
the
That's
big
what they call him, the
fundamental. The
big
dude,
fuck.
yeah. I mean the dude. He just he played his game. He wasn't noisy. He wasn't flashy.
Right. Right.
He just did his thing, and he was just, you couldn't stop him.
Right.
And he took that franchise. I remember him. He was paired up with David Robinson, man,
Yeah.
and Ginobili and Tony Parker. Spurs were
Hey,
unstoppable,
balling.
man. And later on, Kawhi, they were unstoppable, man.
couldn't get beat, man.
Couldn't be
They couldn't
beat.
get beat.
Um,
They're amazing. A
let
lot of
me.
honorable mention. I
Okay,
got one up there too. Might be the same you got, but
okay.
he's still in the league right now. Um, he's got 14 years of career. He got 4 rings, and he's, I would say, the greatest shooter of all time. Steph Curry. Like, not saying that he should be up in the top 5,
Hmm.
but if he sneaks out a couple more rings, I don't know, man. I would start thinking about it because this dude is still doing it. 36 years old. He's still killing them out there. And to be labeled as the greatest shooter of all time and has only been in the league 14 years
Hmm.
is a big deal.
Oh yeah,
He's an amazing, amazing player. Amazing.
he is. Now I have three other honorable mentions. I'll go over them quickly.
Okay.
Wilt
All right.
Wilt Chamberlain. That's someone that my
Okay.
father would have on this list. Wilt Chamberlain. I mean, when he was playing, it was said that he was an unstoppable force. He was like the Shaq of that day.
I think it was even worse
It
because
may have
I
been right.
I heard that he was so dominant that no one could stop him. Like literally a man against children out there. It was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's what they said. He's like a man against children, and the league didn't know what to do with him when he got into the league.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
yeah,
At 100 points in a game. I think he did it
100
twice.
points.
And I think one year
Yeah,
he averaged 50 points a game or something like that.
yeah, yep. Every game, 50 points.
Wow.
Crazy,
Another honor
absolutely crazy.
another honorable mention to go into my top five, just honorable mentions. Larry Bird. Um, Larry Bird was great. He was great, man. He was a great player. You like wonder how in the heck is this dude doing it? But he's doing it. He's
Right.
busting your behind. um,
Mm-hmm.
he was just, he was him and Magic Johnson was like the yin and the yang. He helped save the league along with Magic Johnson.
Right.
You had him, and my last honorable mention, Bill Russell. Um,
Yeah, I
Bill,
got him down too.
yeah, Bill Russell. How many
Yep.
championships he win? 9 or 10?
11.
11. Look at that, 11.
11.
11
11.
championships.
Yeah. And five MVPs.
Yeah, and he didn't have.
Yep.
I mean, he didn't have like the big stats, but you
Mhm.
won because he was on that team.
Exactly. Yeah. It's crazy to see, his stats and, you know, how many rings this dude had. And there's multiple teams too. It wasn't just one team. I got one more honorable mention. Maybe you don't agree, but probably the most dominant big man to ever play the game, Shaquille O'Neal. I feel like Shaq, he had 4 rings. He was on multiple teams, but when he played with Orlando and he played with the Lakers, he was unstoppable. Um, the only defense against Shaq was Shaq back then. Nobody could stop him. Um, and it was amazing watching him play and how he just destroyed every team he played against. And he kind of gave that little fear also of when he gets on the court, like, man, where's he at? Is he in the game now? You foul him, he's gonna miss his free throws. But if you in the paint, it's over. Breaking backboards and pulling them down. He changed the way that they play the game. He's the one that put more weight on the backboard so they don't fall anymore
Yeah,
because of this guy,
yeah,
the Diesel.
the D's.
So yeah,
And
that's another honorable mention I got.
no, I'm with you on that. To be honest with you, he's the reason why I don't have Kobe higher because
Mm.
those championships in LA, um, three of them is because of Shaq. Shaq got one of the MVPs for those finals. And
Right.
sorry to say, but Shaq was the alpha on that team. Kobe was um, Kobe was the Robin. Shaq was the Batman. Kobe was the Robin in those
Yeah,
championship years.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
the only uh, Shaq didn't work hard. Shaq could have been greater than he was. Um, but hey,
Yeah.
but hey, you get a honorable mention. But I like that honorable mention you have there. I have one
Yeah.
up and comer. One up and comer. I see
Oh,
one dude that's playing today that could make that list. You know where I'm going.
mm,
You know where I'm
I
going.
know where you're going. Yeah.
He plays in Denver. He plays in Denver,
Mm.
man. Jokic, man. Nikola Jokic.
Hmm.
The dude, look what he's doing. I mean, the
Yeah.
dude, um, he offensively, he can pass, score, dribble, rebound. He does it all. And you wonder, how is this dude doing it?
He does it effortlessly in slow motion.
In slow motion.
In slow motion, nobody can stop it.
No one can
It's
stop
crazy.
me. I can't be stopped. I can't be stopped. Check out my
Exactly.
jumper.
If
My
you
jumper is unstoppable.
fucking that jumper in your mouth, take that one. Unbeatable, bro. He's ridiculous. He is a great player. Watching him play is just it amazes me how uh agile this dude is, and it's like he makes everything he throws up. And he's hustling, he's running the floor, he'll run a fast break and make a great pass. Like he is a great player and he is up and coming. It's gonna take him a little bit to get to where he needs to. Um, Only one ring so far, but he could get there. He is a great
How
player.
many MVPs do we have?
It's gotta be three at
About
least.
three,
Two or
right?
three.
Yeah,
Yeah, two
man.
or three.
He. I mean, cause
Yeah.
we. I mean, hey, let's think about it. He can definitely be on that honorable mention list. Easy. He could be on that
Absolutely.
now, maybe. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
because he has three MVPs, only one championship. But I'm looking at some of these other people I got on this honorable mention list. Wilt. Wilt, I think, only has two championships. I have to look that
Right.
up. But
Wilt
yo,
Chamberlain had two. Yeah, he only has two.
yeah, Jokic is nasty, man. Jokic is
Yeah, he
nasty.
is. Yeah. It's the overall body of work, that we could put into account. But yeah, Jokic he's on his way. He has a pretty good team though. And the things too that I wanted to talk to you about is how um kind of LeBron could be at an asterisk for his titles
Mm,
because the thing that Mike did, the thing that Kobe did is they stayed on the same team the entire time when they were winning the championships. So like Shaq left, Kobe didn't leave, he stayed there, he got a ring. LeBron didn't stay on his team. LeBron left to Miami to chase a ring. He moved his talents to South Beach, right?
yep.
And they made this so-called super team and they won two rings. So like he started the foundation of the super teams that we see now that happen in the league every once in a while. Um, but like just like I said, there's a little asterisk around that him being so high, but like he is a great player. Don't get me wrong, but for him to go to team to team to team, it's like
That's a strike
you know
against him. No, I agree.
yeah right
And you know what's
that's
funny?
true.
And what's funny about it was that the championship he won in Cleveland outweighs all of those other ones to me.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But you think about it, if I forget who it was didn't play. I think Green didn't play because he had got suspended, and
Mm-hmm.
that changed the outcome of that game. That game 7 would have been different if Green played.
No, he did play in Game 7. It was Game 6 he didn't play. because he was suspended.
Game six. So,
Yeah, yeah, he was
yeah, we
suspended.
suspended one of the games. I remember that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It would have been a lot different outcome, I think.
Or was it game five he was suspended? It was one.
I don't remember.
It was game five or game six. He was suspended.
Okay.
Um. Yeah. But anyway. Yeah. No. If LeBron's one of the most polarizing figures in sports. You either like him or you hate him.
Right.
Most people. They don't like what he did, like what you just said, jumping from team to team, because Jordan didn't do it. You know, Jordan only went to Washington after he retired, and
Right.
he was hoping to become part owner of the Wizards. That's why he went that route. Um,
Right.
but Kobe didn't jump from team to team. He stayed on the same team. Magic, the same thing. Um,
Right.
Duncan, um, Kareem, he did go from one team to the other, but it just seems weirder with LeBron because he's jumping from team to team. I mean, we're talking about starting off with Cleveland, go to Miami, go back to Cleveland. Now you're in Los Angeles, you know.
Right.
So,
I thought he would have ended his career in Cleveland when he went back. That's what I thought he would do. But he chased that ring,
mm-hmm.
and back out there to LA and got another one. So
What do you think
you
about
know,
that ring, though? I mean, this is a bubble ring. I mean.
ring. They still had to play, man. They balled out. They still had to play. I do, there could be a little asterisk around that also, because it was in the bubble, no fans. You don't have to play against a crowd, travel from arena to arena, different cities. So yeah, that can affect it, but I respect it. It happened. Everybody had the same, you know, situations.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like one team had more of an opportunity to win than the other.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's the same players. It's not like they played against bums. They played the Heat. It was a good finals. They did pretty well, and they won a game. So I'll give it to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give it to them.
So that's awesome, man.
Absolutely.
I actually respect your top five, man. I thought you were gonna ask somebody crazy up in there, but you didn't.
I'm down to earth when it comes to basketball, man. Like I love my ball. Um, and I just try to stay as respectable as possible when it comes to these guys and the thing that they've done in the league, and over time, seeing the different teams that has come through. We could talk about that next time. Different teams that like top five teams of all time. That'd be fun.
Oh, that'll be good. That'll be good. Okay. That's another one. All right. So this is Gerald Khalil along with Koran Blast. We gave our top five. Hey, out there, leave a comment. Give me your top five. I want to hear what you guys got to say. And you heard what we had to say. Poke holes in it if you like. Um, you know, I don't think you'll poke holes as who we have. I think where you probably poke holes is the order. So, but that's
Yeah, the place.
the
Yeah,
order,
the
and
place.
I'm guessing 2 to 5 is where you'll poke most of the holes. But
Probably.
hey, some people got LeBron number one. Some people got LeBron
Yeah,
number one.
I
So
don't even see that at all.
so hey, let's
Not
see.
even a little bit.
I would like to
Not
hear
even.
I would like to hear the
I would
argument.
like to hear it.
I would like to hear the
Absolutely, I love to
argument.
hear it.
Yes, sir.
Yep, I would love to argue back.
Yeah. All right, man. You have a good one. Till the
Yep.
next one.
Yep. Peace out.